Welcome, everyone. I am Dr. Dream, and you are here at the It's All Good show. And I always say this is going to be an excellent show, and it really is. And me saying that is always based on the guest. And this is a person I met last spring. Ryan came by. We were doing some things at an EE system booth at the Changing Life Destiny show in Dallas, Texas, and there was an immediate affinity between us. And subsequently, he came to one of our events, brought his partner and his mother on his birthday to an event, to an experience we were facilitating in Austin, Texas. But I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. This is Ryan Encinas. Welcome to the It's All Good show.
Thank you, Dr. Dream. And Changing Life Destiny was the name of that show. And life has changed quite a bit since meeting you on every single level, from my business, from my family, from my partners, from my relationship, and even you helping my mother and bonus dad out with integration and some perspective on life that has been beautiful. Thank you.
It was amazing to meet you. And then the very next experience that I have with you is with meeting your partner, meeting your mother. And I love you and have the most respect for everything you're doing. And it's a little bit humorous for me to say that Stephanie and I are closer to your mother and stepfather than we are to you, but they've shown up really beautifully in our life as we've done some events in Houston where they're based, and where we stay is right near them. And I was doing a podcast one night, and Stephanie went for dinner, and she came over, brought all this food back over for me, and it's just you come from good stock. But before we talk about anything else, like, who are you and how did you get here?
Yeah, great question. And I'm Ryan Encinas, a registered nurse, and I started my career at MD Anderson with cancer research and surgery, and branched out from there. Worked in surgery for almost 20 years, doing every kind of surgery you could imagine, and holding different positions in medical sales, directors, all kinds of stuff. But I went back to school to learn about cellular health, biochemistry, and a little bit of genetics. And the whole time, just bridging this gap between our lineage, knowledge, science, and physics. The universe is not random. Everything has a mathematical equation to it, ratios, and our health is no different. So I've been working in collaboration with some really innovative technology that is the world's largest biometric study and measurement of 28 million people and their antioxidant levels and oxidative stress with a non-invasive laser. And the same Nobel Prize-winning physics that's in the pulse oximeter, and utilizing natural supplementation that is beyond validated at every level you can think of internationally and nationally, to help people harmonize their health, get back into a state of or frequency of healing. And that's what this is giving your body the nutrients they need and having a measurable outcome. So we're working with clinical providers, we're working with health coaches, we're working with corporate wellness, we're working with influencers on how to provide this information to the masses because it's not readily available.
I want to back up like 10 steps.
Yeah.
Your background as an RN and everything had you on a different trajectory than you ended up going. What shifted you? I mean, this isn't people that were doing where you came from aren't doing what you're doing today? What something must have clicked that said, okay, wait a sec, this isn't what it's about. So it was there a moment, or was it just, I know you search for information all the time and you're constantly gathering more knowledge, but what was it that that caused that shift for you?
Um, Compassion and curiosity, to say the least. It was always fascinated with life, with biology, how nature works, how our minds work, or how our spirituality is tied into our emotions and all these things. So I got into nursing, into the medical field to help people. I wanted to contribute, I wanted to be on the front line and help impact people's lives. But what I soon discovered is that I was a cog in the wheel. I was part of this system that prioritized profits um, for oh, for health. Like we're choosing to have profits and greed over people's actual health, and it just didn't sit right with me. The more I looked into this information of our cellular health and psychology, and start to understand that what we're doing is not for the best interest of any human, that I needed to do something more, that I wanted to learn more. I wanted to help people in a more preventative health way. So I went back to school and started to understand biochemistry and cell function and a little bit of genetics so I could help people get off medications, help people shift their perspective about their health, of what mainstream media and government is telling you, really just incentivized to make a profit. And so when I did that, the universe started showing me this path, like, hey, you have a voice, you can speak up. And the more I started to speak up, the more things started to happen. So taking sovereignty over my own action, owning my own reality, that nothing is, I have to have radical ownership of my part in this world, and giving information to others. And I couldn't just sit on the back line. So it wasn't just some moment, some aha thing. It was a lifelong progression of being a deep empath, being able to sift through some BS. And that's why I went back to school, because people couldn't explain to me the answers. Why are we sick? What's an antioxidant? What's a free radical? Those terms are tossed around all the time, but no one could explain it to me. So I went and sought my own answers, because no one's coming to save you. Like, I don't heal anyone. I help shift people's perspective so they can make a more informed decision about their own health.
I love that. I really do. And it impresses me. I mean, just so much about you impresses me. I've had conversations with you. We've been in person together. Since I knew I was going to be interviewing you, I've listened to some other podcasts that you've done. I love that you are brutally honest with yourself and about yourself, and brutally honest for the rest of us. Now, the title of this podcast is "The Future of Healthcare is Prevention, and the Revolution Starts at the Cellular Level." So that's right off of your bio, and I read it. I'm like, that's the title of the show. So take us into that. I want to know about the device. I want to know, how all this came about. But mostly, what I want to know, and what I want you to share with our viewers, is how do we get healthy? I mean, obviously, with everything, all the fallout of the last 5 years, our trust in doctors, for many of us, we realize, if we hadn't already known, was possibly misplaced, and that if we were giving our power away, and we were not giving it to a very good place. Let's just say that. And so I think a lot of people are in this process of taking their power back. And then it's like, okay, here I am. I can't really trust my doctor because he's been paid by all of these, companies and this and that. So it's not the purity that I thought I was getting. Now what do I do? How do I move forward?
It's like I said, no one's coming to save you, and we can't tear down the whole system. We have to rebuild it from within. And that starts with conversations like this. That starts with radical ownership and understanding that, like you said, doctors are just like nurses. A lot of them got into it because they wanted to help people. But what they didn't realize is that they were being programmed and trained by big pharma only. They don't have nutritional training. They're lucky if they understand a little bit of cell function from a nutritional standpoint. They understand it very well from a pharmaceutical standpoint. And that's what they're taught. They're taught how to prescribe. But there's no medication that cures. Metformin doesn't cure insulin resistance. Ozempic does not cure obesity. Statins do not cure, cholesterol issues. And that's the problem is our entire civilization is consumerism based. So everyone's trying to sell you something always. And it's what are their motives? To line their own pockets or ego? It generally falls into one of those two categories. So when you have a medical system that pays for our media programming, that pays for our medical school teaching, for pharmaceutical shareholder incentives, that's their best interest. It's not health. It's managing chronic conditions. And that's the problem. That's the shift is everyone's been so programmed. I mean, look at television. It's tell a vision programming. That's literally what the word means. And when you're told something over and over and over again, you begin to believe it. It's this herd effect where you start to follow the flock. But it's our health information that's always been the most censored because of this, because they want to keep us in line, keep us part of the system that makes us sick and profitable by managing a chronic condition with a pharmaceutical that causes more side effects instead of giving you real health, which is nature, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it. It's all the same thing. It's the mathematical equation of all these minerals that build everything. Periodic table. It's what our galaxy, our dirt, everything we're made of. I mean, how crazy is it to think that this microphone, this camera, everything that we touch and see is made from dirt? It's all made from minerals. And it's the most natural thing. If you tell someone that's looking at a mountain and say, make me the internet and satellite communications, and be like, no way, I can't. But that's what mankind has done. We're brilliant, but we've confiscated our ability to innovate and turned it to egoic profits that literally feed off of fear. You're not healthy. You don't deserve love. You're not enough. Buy this thing, do this thing. Someone else is giving you the answers. But that's simply not true. There are more nutritional studies and science and thousands of years of putting nutrition first. That's what harmony is. That's what homeostasis is. It's the vibration of health where every single cell is getting all that they need. I like to say you are not a symptom, you are a system. Just like the cosmos and the planets, you are a system that requires proteins, fats, minerals, vitamins, fiber. Like you can't get around that. Every human needs that. We are a bioelectric magnetic organism that our conscious is driving, right? And that's what this device is letting us do. For the first time, we are having a preventative metric of health. Everything we're measuring, these lab values, when you say, oh, my thyroid's off, my liver function is not well, my BU and creatinine, my kidney function isn't great. These markers for plaque in your arteries, all of those are downstream from nutrient deficiency, every single one of them. So when your body's not getting what it needs, then it finds a way to live. A tree grows, a bird flies, an animal has a leg injured or gets in a trap and chews it off, it still carries on life. Life is amazing. And your body can do that in so many ways that we'll never fully understand. But that's the problem is like, let's get back there. This device lets us know in 30 seconds, takes a 2-month metric of your cellular health. Do you have enough antioxidants inside your cells in real time? No waiting on lab results. It's the same Nobel Prize-winning physics as the pulse oximeter, which is the little red light they put on your finger that tells you how much oxygen is in your body instantly right now. And everything's frequency. So this physics is just tuning into a different frequency, and this is the frequency of these carotenoid antioxidants. And when we do that, we know it's like a credit score on your health. You have a low score, you're at greater risk, or you have a metabolic disease, which is 95% of all diagnosed disease. They're not rare genetic things. All metabolic means is nutrient deficiency and overload of toxins. There's only one disease, it's cellular. And we're all starving at the cellular level. When we test 28 million people, 99% of the population is not getting the nutrients they need. And modern healthcare is not measuring that. The FDA, the healthcare system, they do not acknowledge nutritional management as prevention, diagnostic, or treatment for metabolic disease, even though it's the literature is well established because it doesn't fit into the pharmaceutical model. And so doctors aren't the bad guys. We have to teach them, those that are willing to learn. So speaking their language, and this company that was founded by former pharmacists, the people that invented statins, the people that invented immunosuppressant therapies for organ transplants, invented birth control. We don't like any of those things. But they were studying plants. They were studying nature. And you cannot patent nature, just like we cannot patent a human or an organ, thank God. But now we can study those that's been studied for thousands of years, right? This is Ayurvedic medicine. This is Chinese medicine. And we're studying these plant extracts. But Big Pharma makes a synthetic version. That's a medication. That synthetic version has all the side effects. The real thing doesn't have side effects. You eat an apple, there's not a side effect. You eat a steak or eggs or berries, there's not a side effect. There's real nutrition that's from nature. So now we have a way to bring that pharmaceutical grade nutritional extracts. And these big pharma guys, the man who invented statins, Joe Chang, he was disgusted with what big pharma did with statins. And he left 40 years ago, gave him the middle finger, said, I'm out. I cannot believe you're pushing this to the masses because of the side effects. And statins came from fermented red yeast, naturally. A very specific way that you need, $1 million lab to create. But he actually tried to create this fermented red yeast extract and sell it to everyone. And the FDA shut him down because he was proving that you could get the same better impact on health with no side effects. So instead of shutting down shop 40 years ago, he grabbed his colleagues, former deputy director of Merck, who invented Rapamune immunosuppressant therapies, and the other man, Carl deGrassi, who invented birth control. And they had always wanted to work together and put their brilliant discoveries of nature to the masses. And that's what they did. They said, here, now we have a way to do this, but we have to be very careful what we say. I can speak freely because I'm not a doctor. I'm not making medical claims. I can't say the word cure, but I can say improve cellular function of said issue or disease when I talk about it that way. That's the system that we're changing from within. So doctors are waking up for a lot of reasons. Some of them, it's their pocketbook because their incentives, they make less and less. And just like any sales job, they're like, see more patients, do more surgeries, put them on more meds. But that's not sustainable for their quality of life either. So now we have a way that they can impact patient outcomes. They can improve their cellular health, and it's measurable. That's preventative wellness. When we know that you are not getting or you are getting enough, we can make an adjustment and you can see, and it's affordable. Anyone can do it.
Now, is this device, this whatever it is, and you'll explain it a little more, is it going to tell me like I mean the world of supplements is beyond me. I look at all this stuff out there and I'm just like, oh my God, how can you even weave your way through all of that and know what's good and know what's right? And I'm muscle testing and got my pendulum and I'm just like, ah, oh, geez. Is there a way to give our body what it needs without taking extra stuff?
Is it possible? Yes. Is it likely? No, because our soil is depleted. Our food has 50% less nutrients than it did 50 years ago. That's one issue. The second issue is we have done more with toxins in our environment, in our food, in our soil, in our air, in our water, in our building materials for our homes, for our cleaning supplies, the soaps that we use on our hands, the EMF, all of this stuff. We've added more toxins to our environment in the last 50 years than any other time in history. So when you don't have enough nutrients in the food you're eating, so even if you're eating real food, even organic food, even if you're buying from a farmer's market, it takes 80 years to rebuild the soil health to get those nutrients back in. And you have all this toxin exposure. That's why there's an explosion of metabolic disease. Plus, some experimental jabs that we're poking in people that really impact and change their health. And we died more than any other country, and we gave people more of that experimental poke than anyone else. And that's why it's nearly impossible to not supplement in this modern world. We were not inundated with chemicals, toxins, EMF the way we are now. And evolution just doesn't happen that fast. Now, your mindset speaks volumes of where you're at. But most people are not monks, that are trained and isolated from society and away from these toxins to really focus in on those powers to have mind over matter over their body. Is it possible? 100%. I've done some amazing things. I've seen people do amazing things. You've seen people do amazing things with their mindset, but you can't outrun bad fuel. It's impossible. You don't, and the supplement industry is rampant with fraud and is just as bad as the pharmaceutical industry and big food industry and the government. It's an unregulated market. People can say whatever they want. So to have a company that's 100% transparent, instead of quoting the science, they're showing you, no, we made it the exact same way as that science. And here we're safety testing, have zero recalls in 40 years. We operate in 50 countries. That's how they got to be the first list in the physician desk reference, because they wanted to help doctors choose a supplement that actually works and not be in the ego of white labeling and like, oh, I've created my own supplement. I'm this person. No, we work better in community. We have to work together. And sharing the brilliance of the scientific community and collaboration of 70 scientists that are working with traditional Chinese medicine and Ayurvedic medicine, partnering with Stanford to be able to substantiate these things. There's a very clear difference. I don't know a single supplement company out there that has a money back guarantee to change your lab values.
So you're talking about two different things here. One is this device, and now talk to me about the supplement.
So the device was created by the NIH. The company bought the patent because it validated their work, gave them a market advantage. Look, we can show you what we're doing. We have supplements, we can measure that they're actually being absorbed into your cells. A lot of people take supplements and there's literature or science that they quote, for instance, ORAC value. Has a million ORAC value, which all it means is antioxidants. But it's pointless. It's saying it's a really high antioxidant level in a lab, not in your living tissue measured. So the very big difference between saying something has these things in it versus can we measure it in your body? You don't wait till someone's blue in the face to give them oxygen. But that's what we're doing. We're waiting till this disease happens where you put a pulse oximeter on someone, oh, look, you have enough oxygen. You're not blue. But we don't have a visual cue for our health. Now we do. This device gives us a visual cue. You're actually absorbing enough nutrients inside your tissue. And that's the beauty of this, essential compound that's in all plant life on the planet that gives us all these vibrant, beautiful colors. It's Mother Nature's technology. It's the signal. It's the flashing light of yellow, purple, blue, green, red, orange, saying, eat me. I'm a nutrient dense fruit or vegetable. I contain things, a lot of things that the body needs. That's why colors have flower to attract a pollinator. And that's what we're doing when we're eating fruits and vegetables. An animal, when they eat these fruits and vegetables, they're pollinating, they're spreading the seed. But they're also universe's intelligent design, eating these plants to keep us alive.
Now, what's the name of the device?
The BioPhotonic Scanner, which is a mouthful, and it's been in clinical application for 20 years. We're getting a very sexy rebrand at the end of this year. We'll have it'll be called Prism because we're using light and frequency to measure. And there's over 120 studies on this stuff, published and peer-reviewed. Yale 10-year cancer study, Harvard, Texas Tech, Stanford Medical School, independent, no financial ties. And now this new device is coming out at the end of this year. And instead of thousands of dollars to put this device into a clinical practice, everyone at home can have their own device the size of a hockey puck that they just put their finger on, and it can tell them instantly, is your diet and lifestyle working for you or against you? Period. Dot the end. And we've been working with MIT for the past 4 years. This new device, just like our iPhones, just like a Tesla, will have software updates pushed to it over the next 5 years. And all those same clinical validation, Yale, Stanford, Texas Tech, all that stuff, they're doing more research on this new device because it's learning how to take other biometric measurements. Now, they're very tight-lipped and won't say what that is, but this is the shift from preventative wellness. Let's get your diet nutrition right. So we know that now we're going to have other measurements at home that you don't need to do lab work for because lasers get where needles can't. Needles,
This is everything that the current device, which I take it is mostly in doctor's offices, everything that that would give me if I went into the doctor's office and did whatever I needed to do with it, this new Prism device would do the same thing, if not maybe even a little bit more.
it absolutely will do more, just not right away because they want to provide the clinical validation before saying it measures this. But what they're talking about is fat soluble vitamins, hydration, things like that. So when you're measuring lab work, you're measuring the fluid between the cells, between tissue. That's the transport mechanism. You're not actually measuring inside the cell. This light gets into the cell membrane and is reflecting back. It's tuning into the frequency of whatever we're trying to measure, in this case, carotenoid antioxidants that impact the absorption of all other nutrients to the cell.
So, what are people, by and large, an average person going in right now to a doctor's office and doing this? What are they finding?
That they're chronically deficient in systemic total antioxidants. And that's what carotenoid antioxidants measure. And they're also the first line defense. So carotenoids do two things. When we measure, everyone's low. Everyone scores in like the 25,000, 28,000 range. We need you to be 50,000 or higher. We know that when you're 50,000 or higher, that you are at lower risk for all metabolic disease, cancer, Alzheimer's, dementia, cardiac disease, kidney disease, liver disease, insulin resistance. Pick a disease. It's all metabolic in nature. So that's what we're seeing. And we're seeing that with this clinically validated supplementation, that score is jumping 10,000 points on average per month. And it takes your body about 5 months to get to full saturation. When you take a medication, when you ingest something new on a regular basis, it doesn't hit every cell at the same time. It takes about 5 months for your body to become fully saturated with creatine or fully saturated with that new fat, that healthy omega-3 that you're eating that you weren't getting in your diet. It takes that long to get to every cell in the body. And then you plateau.
May I ask where you were the first time
Mhm.
you got tested with this device?
I was very nervous. And I scored 45,000, which is extremely good, but not quite in the blue. The blue is 50,000. Now I teeter between 58,000 to as high as 70,000. And then my wife kicks my ass. She's always at like 70 to 80,000. So our baby, our newborn child, who is extremely healthy, um, I am in the point, I'm in 1% of 28 million people tested for my cellular health and function and protection from free radical damage. My wife is even better. She's in the 0.001% of 28 million people tested. So her breast milk that she's nourishing and giving our child everything our child needs: immune system, microbiome, all of it, antibodies. I was sick right when our child was born. I was reborn with a really nasty sickness and had to be isolated. In real time, my wife was making antibodies to give to our child to fight off whatever I had.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's absolutely amazing. And so talk to us about the supplement and I mean it sounds it's just one supplement you're talking about. What take
There's
us
a
into this?
yeah, there's a lot, and it's like when I bring on a new health practitioner, we don't want to overwhelm them. We want to make things easy for people. And every practitioner, whether they're a hormone expert, a surgeon, GYN doctor, pediatric, they all utilize the same things because they work systemically. So really we have about like six heavy hitters that we can measure on the device. And the initial one with that is called Life Pack. And it gives you your life back. And the way a multivitamin is supposed to work. It has your zinc, selenium, and iodine, and vitamin A, and E, and C, and all these things made in a way that we know that all of them are getting absorbed, that it's going to increase your levels on lab test, and we can measure it with bioavailability. That's what carotenoids are. They're nature's bioavailability. They're how they become a part of every cell membrane. Cells don't have mouths, they have a membrane, and the permeability, how things get in and out of that cell, is what carotenoids do. So when you have a higher carotenoid level, all of your other nutrients begin to be absorbed easier, but they also impact every single organ in the body: your gut barrier, your eyes, your thyroid, your neurons and the way they fire, your cardiac vessels, everything. It even impacts your gut microbiome. So when we raise all these ingredients and give your body what it's lacking from the modern world, a lot of these symptoms start to go away. That's foundational. There's ones that focus on gut health. Gut health is huge for everyone. Most people, because of these toxins, they impact our gut barrier, which is a one cell thick lining of your small intestine that is your relationship between your outer world and your inner world. That is the protecting barrier that absorbs everything we put into our body, toxins and chemicals, and tries to encapsulate them in fat and push them out of your body through urine and stool. But those gap junctions become very wide from shriveled up cells that are malnourished and starving and turn into shriveled old wrinkled raisin people. So we need to plump them back up with anthocyanin, which is an extract just like your beautiful beard. It's purple. It's from purple foods, specifically bilberry and black rice and black currant have the highest amounts of this anthocyanin. When you fix that gut barrier, oh, all of a sudden your A1C, your blood sugar, is more regulated. Your cardiac vessels improve. Your oxidized LDL starts to go down. Your metabolism improves without even working out. People's metabolism markers were elevated from having anthocyanin extract. They were starting to lose weight naturally because their gut barrier was fixed. There weren't a bunch of holes in their filter letting all this junk get through. And then, eat real food. But there's also one that works on 52 genes of the mitochondria, upregulating them with a very expensive test called gene heat mapping. The company actually acquired a genetics company because it was cheaper than paying royalties. So the genetics company was part of the Human Genome Project. So we have the only epigenetic, clinically validated products in the world. And we know that it works on 52 genes in the mitochondria. And the specific mitochondria it impacts are your brain, your heart, and your muscles. This increases VO2 max. So people all of a sudden are not winded when they're going up the stairs. This increases libido. I've had friends that say, hey, I'm waking up pitching a tent every morning, and I haven't done that in years. I'm like, yeah, that's because your mitochondria are happy. But so there's a collagen, there's an anti-aging that works on 1,000 genes that have to do with aging, resetting that. It's, I mean, this has been on Dr. Oz. This has been on a Discovery Channel a decade ago. And healthcare just doesn't adopt quick. You know, when cholesterol testing came out, when the DEXA scan came out, when the pulse oximeter came out, everyone didn't just jump on it. It took a lot of boots on the ground, people having conversations like this saying, hey, what is this device? Because there's been a lot of good technology, but not enough word to get it out. And a fun fact about this company, Pharmanex, they were in retail pharmacies. Just like you're saying, confusion in the space, supplements everywhere on every shelf, the fastest growing section in the grocery store. No one has any idea if it works because there's no way to measure until now. So they wanted to have a broader reach. I said, let's partner with another company. The first two companies that they tried to partner with or that wanted to buy them, Monsanto and Pfizer. And they said, no, thanks. That's where we came from. We don't want you to squash our nutritional discoveries and our $40 million of lab equipment we have to make things ethically. So they partnered with Nu Skin, which they'd never heard of, which is a beauty company. And that beauty company was started by two chemists, female chemists that didn't were tired of putting paraffin wax on their face and skin. And so they're like, we want to make a lotion and a beauty product that doesn't have crap in it. And they've partnered ever since because they wanted more science from beauty from within. We know that your skin glows when you have a higher carotenoid level. And that's the beauty of what carotenoids are. It's color in all nature, right? So a cardinal is bright red because of its high carotenoid level, which is a sign that it's a healthy mate, that it has vitality. It's the same thing in humans. When we look at dermatologists and measure skin glow, it's your carotenoids that impact your collagen. And we can measure that with infrared cameras. We can measure that in an app on your phone and tell you how healthy your skin is.
So here we are. I've listened to you talk about this. Stephanie and I have started eating more of the rainbow.
Yeah.
And we're like, Life Pack, we got to get Life Pack. I'm like, well, let's have the podcast with Ryan. I mean, there's six or more different products. Again, I'm in that space now where it's like, okay, what do I take? How do I know that I'm taking the right thing and everything like that? What do I, at this point, because Prism's not out, do I need to go find one of these devices where, I mean, we're life on the road. It'll be easier for other people, but how do I approach this now?
Yeah. Well, you know me. So next time you're in Texas, in Houston, and near Austin, I'll I'll definitely scan you. But that's the problem. There's only 2,000 of these devices, and that's why they've invested 500 million to make a small device that will be available to the masses. And to answer your question, yes, LifePak is for everyone. That's foundational metabolic protocol. Then it's just talking like, do you have gut issues? Do you want to work on mitochondrial health? We can do that. It's all about what's in someone's bandwidth. And what I mean by that is you could easily spend hundreds of dollars and take everything, but not everyone can do that. So how do you get the most bang for your buck? You talk to one of us, talk to a doctor that uses this, talk to me. I train the doctors how to do this. So it's just a matter of what's in someone's bandwidth, what do they want to focus on. Some of these supplements are not forever supplements like the gut health stuff. You can heal your gut and it could take, but it's different for everyone. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say, take this for a month, you'll be healed. No, I don't know your entire background. I don't know where your cells are at with heavy metals and toxins and how nutrient depleted you are. It could take you 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year, but it works. So it's just a matter of, yep, we'll get you on Life Pack. Do we need to focus on something else also? Cool, we can do that for a while and just check in. That's my full-time job, is teaching, educating, and helping other people do this.
Now, I get that I've got access to you. I've got your cell phone number. I can call your mother if I need to. But what about just somebody that's watching this that's never met you? I mean, Do they go to a website and find a doctor in their area? What's the process?
Right now, the best way is to reach out to me, and I can find someone that might be in their area, and more than happy to have a conversation with them. Um, Follow me on Facebook at Holistic Space Hub, HUB. On Instagram, it's underscore holistic underscore hub. People message me all the time with questions. I share resources. I do have a website of holistichub.gethealthyusa. There's a ton of stuff on there. When this was in the news, there's all of our studies. We have webinars, interviews with other health specialists, and yes, I'm here to be that conduit. In the very near future, we will have an integrated website where people can find one of these devices for them. It currently does not exist, and it's a big thing to have such an impact with a massive company. And so we've been building those CRMs and integrations out for a year, and we're almost there. And released with this new scanner, we'll be able to tell people, hey, there's an event over here, go get scanned. Community outreach programs. And we're having conversations with the CEO of Maha. We're having conversations with very prominent influencers with corporate wellness. And we need more boots on the ground. We need more access. We need more conversations. The science is all there. It's who's open to it. And, no science is dogmatic in religion. Real science is like religion and spirituality. It welcomes challenge with compassion. I need to see the evidence. And if you're not open to having a discussion about science, that's not very scientific.
So one of the things that one of the many things I love about you is that it doesn't stop at the, this aspect of the science. It doesn't stop at what you're putting into your body, food wise, supplementation. You go well beyond that. Speak to us about that.
Yeah, I mean, as deep as I go into the science and biochemistry, and I can nerd out with some PhDs and speak their language, you can't avoid the human experience. We're all here for a reason. In my opinion, that's to create whatever that is: a podcast, art, poetry, music, a better financial system, a better health system, a better way to do business, because we are all created. So, how do we pay homage to the creator? And that's to create something and to help one another. Love is the most powerful energy in existence that we cannot define and is truly unlimited. And it helps us create everything. We were created out of love. The sunshine loves our plants, helps them grow. That genetic code of a seed to grow into this beautiful tree and fruit, and vegetable, this thing that we need that somehow works with our body. So, our spirituality and your belief system is absolutely tied into your diet. It's this holy trinity of mind, body, and soul. And you can't outrun bad fuel, and you can't avoid your triggers. There are signals, just like metabolic health issues, saying, hey, we need to change our perspective about this traumatic event. We need to feel our feelings. The better your cellular health is, the easier it is to manage that stress. Robust studies on that too. But when people ask me, Ryan, what's your diet? They don't understand what the word means. And we go to Hebrew pictographs and Latin, the word diet actually means way of life. And it reads out into a translation per hieroglyphic. When they're paired together, mean different things. And there's 5 pictures that mean diet. And it reads out to, I have a plan, I have a purpose. Everything that I assimilate, everything that I take in, that makes me breathe easier, which is homeostasis, harmony, alignment. Restrict all else. Then my purpose is found. That's the etymology of diet. Is it restrictive? Yes. Restrict what doesn't serve you. Someone's blowing up my social media page and is some troll or bot. I have no idea. Click buy. They're not serving me. More than happy to have a conversation with anyone about anything, about my life, about my experiences, about I used to not be a good partner. I all had to learn those lessons myself. But that's what diet means, is restrict what doesn't serve you. And so, you know, our trauma, we can't avoid. We're going to feel pain in this life. It's what it is to be alive. But it's what you feed. There's no bad emotion. We have to acknowledge these emotions. When you shove them down, you repress them, they're going to bottle up and boil out somewhere. So to be able to say, radically own your life. Yes, a lot of bad things have happened to me in my life. Yes, I've done bad things to other people, but I'm not a victim. I am in charge of my reality. The moment that I start thinking that I'm a victim, then I'm feeding into fear instead of love, because every opportunity comes with difficulty. And the inverse is true. Every difficulty has opportunity. You always have the opportunity to learn, to grow. And if you do not choose to grow and lead with love, you're going to find the same scenario, date the same type of person, have the same metabolic disease until you own up and say, I need to shift my perspective on this situation. And I use SHIFT as an acronym: stress harmonizing insights for transformation. Where stress can be the metabolic level, cellular level, stress can be emotional. I'm a victim. I'm not enough. I'm a perfectionist. I don't deserve love. Stress can also be existential in your belief system. Do you actually believe in love? Are you operating out of a place of love or fear? And stress is the other acronym I use. Systems that reinforce economic sickness and suffering. And that's what we're in. We're in this system that's governed, and you can choose to not be a part of the system. You can turn off the news. And then some people say, well, I don't want to fight. And I get that. But if you don't fight for love, what will you fight for? For some people, that's learning how to, the love of their family. I need to be more educated about what's going on. So I'm making a decision to not inject my child with experiments. I need to give them real food instead of big words that I don't understand. I need to get an education to understand what those big words are, because not all of those big words are bad. Most of them are, but all of them aren't. And I need to radically own my own emotions and not project them onto everyone else. So it is all intertwined, and that's what the world is waking up to. If you choose to question what's been programmed to you, you're not a symptom, you're a system, and that system thrives off of love. Love your body, restrict what doesn't serve you. Love your mind, change your perspective on the things that aren't serving you.
There's no mistake that you and I are so deeply connected in this reality. I have a question for you, and I'm pretty sure it must be a question that other people have come to you. The people that went ahead and got the experimental poke, and maybe they got more than one, and then hopefully by now they've awakened to the fact that has challenged them on some level. What do you say specifically to someone that's wanting to offset or, work with that to help themselves?
It's not complicated as it sounds. Some of the leading experts, McCullough, these other guys, um, it's bromelain, nattokinase, and curcumin. And now the problem is finding a product that's made the right way, just like the supplement space. There's a lot of them out there. There are about half a dozen that I know of that I've seen good results with. And you can amplify their effects by using nicotine. The highest nicotine containing food on the planet is an eggplant. Nicotine is not bad. Nicotine has been used by every single indigenous culture. It's what all the greedy scientists did to tobacco and added all these chemicals into it. So low dose, you can even do really low dose nicotine patch in conjunction with those. And there is a ratio to the nattokinase, bromelain, and curcumin. It does take a long time. It does not happen overnight. It is like a 6 months to a year protocol. And what a lot of people won't tell you about nattokinase, which is an enzyme from natto, which is a Japanese fermented soybean, uh, powerful food and healing remedy for thousands of years. That enzyme, it cannot compete with your food or diet. So when you take this mixture, this cocktail, you can take it first thing in the morning. I put it in my bathroom and have a cup of water ready to go. So take it, then I brush my teeth, go to the restroom, wash my face. By the time that I get out there to do my morning ritual, to make your coffee or tea or whatever, it's been about 20 minutes. You need 20 minutes of that in your system alone before you ingest anything else besides water, or it will not work. And if that doesn't work for you, taking it at night, it has to be 2 hours from your last meal. So that includes, a smoothie, a piece of candy. Like you have to be very regimented with this, and discipline is the highest form of self-love. So when we discipline ourselves, then we are increasing the love for ourselves, which increases our capacity to help and love others. So you can absolutely detox from the the COVID vaccine. You can detox from that experimental poke. Um, you can detox from a lot of vaccines. A lot of them are heavy metal laden, and that's becoming more public knowledge. I'm so grateful to. It's the best time to be alive. All these souls are being called to our planet to help the collective wake up and shift this consciousness into a radical ownership, but a higher frequency of love, where we can truly create more um, unity and create more beautiful art, create more impactful lyrics of songs, because that's part of diet also. It's not just the food we eat, it's the things we listen to, our internal dialogue and the conversations we have. So is your internal dialogue serving you? Um, but yes, you know, everyone should seriously question things that are put into your body. And if you're not, um, there's a path for everyone. There's no wrong way to feel anything or get to a conclusion. It takes some people longer, but think about where those interests are coming from. Why is this being done? Why can we not sue the vaccine industry? Why is that the only industry in the world that we cannot sue?
Now, is there a place you would point people to find this protocol, or just search Dr. McCullough or Dr. Brian Ardis or some of these other people? What do you suggest?
Those are all great names. Several of them have come up with their own version of that protocol. I have one that I use called Dissolve It All, made by MitoLife, um, and it works very well. I've used it on myself. I've used it on my partner. I've used it on several clients when I used to see more one-on-one clients. That's the one that I know and trust and have validated. There's a couple others that I can put in some show notes or some links, but it's super important, and you can't just do a vaccine protocol and not take care of the rest of your cellular health that we're starving. When you upregulate that, when your carotenoid levels are higher, that cell membrane works better. So this protocol gets absorbed more efficiently. And we see this with clients and patients when they're on a medication, then they don't have to take as much because it works better. Or from my wife when she was pregnant, they take evening primrose oil to soften the uterus to make labor easier. And our midwife, who's delivered 3,000 babies and been in service for 52 years, starts people on that evening primrose oil at the second trimester. We started in the second trimester. It worked too well. It softened her cervix and uterus too much, and we had to stop taking it because her carotenoid antioxidant level is in the 0.001% of 28 million people tested. So we only had to take it for the last week, and it was just as effective as normal people taking it for months. So to put that in perspective, when your cells work better, when they absorb all other nutrients better, every herbal remedy, every medication, every natural thing works better. Your body's more efficient.
It's awesome. I really love the level of information that you're putting out there, the just what you're giving all of us. I'm looking forward to a phone call with you outside of all this and Life Pack and everything else. And we're going to be in Southern California for 2 months, and I imagine there's a place you can send me out there that I can get tested. So, uh, again, how do people find you?
On Instagram _holistic_hub, HUB. On Facebook, holistic space HUB hub. My email is ryan at my-holistic-hub.com. Other website is holistichub.gethealthyusa.com. I am a conduit. I'm here to help provide information, perspective, whatever someone needs. And my page is full of a lot of information about this stuff and some funny memes because, laughter is the best medicine. It's right up there with love. And we have to find a way to not be so dry and have fun disseminating this knowledge and passing it down through storytelling like it's always been. And there's no better way to do that with a little bit of laughter, in my opinion.
Thank you so much for sharing all that you share. Thank you for just stepping up and knowing in each moment what your life is about and being proactive and you are an inspiration to me. And I'm sure after people watch this and anytime they've come into contact with you, they feel the same way. So thank you so much. We'll get those links and have them in the description wherever we post this. And yeah, we'd like to have you back on the It's All Good show another time also.
I love it. And Dr. Dream, I mean, you're an inspiration to me. You are walking, living, breathing this life to impact others every day. It is your purpose. And it deeply resonates with me, just what you're doing, and gives me more courage. And I just want to say I am so just humbled and proud of you for starting this podcast and putting your face and voice out there is terrifying as it was for me. And I had the universe push me and say, get out there. You got to connect the hearts to your throat. And I had something to say, and I want to speak from this area. And you've been doing that for so long, helping so many other people. I'm just thrilled to co create and find collaborative win wins with compassion and getting a little bit closer to truth and harmony with everyone. So thank you, Dr. Dream.
Oh, that was unexpected to hear. Thank you so much. I'll take all that in. Thank you for being on the It's All Good show, and we're going to stay connected.
Yeah. Thank you.